Staying started, not a workbook, a service manual. The first step is to rediscover and revalue our why and therefore become willing. Step number 2 becomes very, very pragmatic. Think back to the day when you got involved in MonaVie and contemplate and consider what was your initial order. Write down your initial order. Did you in fact buy an initial enrollment kit? Did you? Or did you simply mix and match products? Was that initial enrollment kit a 500 or 1000 PV enrollment kit? Remember that since that time, your business was set upon a process of duplication. When a person joins our business, he or she will engage in business building behaviors that are completely predictable based upon that initial order. If one has products only of a size that are appropriate for personal consumption, if my initial order placement has products in it only for my use, almost by definition, I will conduct fewer business presentations. If I don't have products to use in home business reviews, I will conduct fewer home business reviews. This is not something I think, it's something I know. It has been shown over and over and over and over again. If I don't have products to use to pour for samples, then I will not give samples, and that will have a complete, immediately identifiable negative outcome in my business. If I do not have products so that I can sell, Nate is here again helping me with my recording. Nathan, after I take you all the way through the business, I really believe that you should be involved. I really believe you should. But Nate, if your personal timing is such that it's not right for you, 100% chance you should be drinking our juice. 100% chance. And so Nate, we have 2 or 3 different iterations. You've heard about them here today. Would you prefer to start with 1 or 2 cases? Man, if you guys can just learn to say what I just said. If your personal timing is such that it's not appropriate for you to join our business right now, I understand that. I get it entirely. But Nate, I believe in my heart of hearts and clear to the center of my being that you should be consuming our products. Reveal. You should be consuming 1 or more of the remarkable juices. I cannot, in good faith, Nate, I can't let you leave here without you becoming a consumer of Max. I can't. That's a product you should be using. And so Nate, would you like me to help you place an initial order for 1 or 2 cases? Folks, learn how to say what I just said. Believe what I just expressed. Learn how to say what I just said. Now here's the question. Is it true that your business is duplicating either correctly or incorrectly based upon your initial order? If your initial order was for 200 PV, and that's entirely possible. In fact, that's somewhat likely here at the outset as we introduce these materials, we introduce MVP around North America. Not sure exactly what the date is when you're receiving this material. It's entirely possible that your first order was a 200 PV order. If your first order was a 200 PV order, is it not true that you have duplicated that? Is it not true that it is so difficult for you to ask for an order that is dissimilar to the order that you initially placed? That, by the way, is why one of the reasons it's so very important for you to get out of the way and let the system do the work, let the tool do the talking for you, and allow proper duplication to now begin. If your initial entry order to MonaVie was not for a 500 PV pack or for a 1000 PV pack, I can almost promise you that you now have a duplication in your business, which includes only initial consumption type orders. I can almost assure you that there is not promotional volume being acquired in your business. What is promotional volume? That is any order that is placed which is larger than the intended consumption in the first 4 weeks of the acquirer. So now using again Nate as my example, if Nate joins me in the business today, he places a 500 PV order. I don't believe that Nate and his family are going to consume 500 PV worth of our company's products in this 4-week period. The difference in what he and his family consume and what they buy, that is the promotional component of the order. That promotional component is what gives logic to it. It's what gives a foundation to the logic that now prepared to be in business. He didn't place an order to consume only. He placed an order for consumption and to be in business. If Nate placed an order to be in business, then that creates the proper logic from the very beginning to now conduct home business reviews 2-on-1s and 1-on-1s. Is that what your first order looked like? Did it include promotional volume? Mark it yes or no. Was your initial order a 500 or a 1000 PV order? If the answer is no, is it true that today your business is duplicating with no promotional volume? A business duplicating with no promotional volume will be a low growth or a no growth business. We can right here at step number 2 identify much of the root cause of a business that is failing to grow. If your slope of growth is very, very, very modest, or if you have no growth, oftentimes that can be cured. The root cause can be found in an insufficient initial order strategy that is duplicating throughout your business. Let me ask you now a very pointed question. Would you like, now that you've looked back at your initial order, is that how you want your group to look, yes or no? Do you want your business to duplicate based on what your initial order was? If the answer to that is no, is it now appropriate based on this new and better knowledge for you to place a supplemental order? So that next time you arrive at that uncomfortable point when you're meeting with a new member, a new proposal, and that new member says, well, what was your first order? Man, isn't that a hard spot? When you know the correct order is 500 or 1,000 PV, when you know that they're not going to engage in the correct number of business building behaviors, they don't have that product, when you know that they're not going to create a proper foundation of product consumers in their organization because they didn't place the proper order, is it not difficult for you to ask them to place an order that is different than the one that you placed? That is a quandary that many find themselves in. That's the problem. What is the solution? The solution is to be found in step 2 of Staying Started. Is it appropriate for you to now place a supplementary order to add to the initial, such that next time someone says, "What did you do?" you can candidly reply, I joined the company with insufficient knowledge. My first order was not the correct one. When I realized that error, I placed a supplementary order, which now makes my overall combined initial order 500 or 1,000 PV. That is the correct action to now take, such that you can begin duplicating your business with a correct promotion line. What was your initial order? What is today's order? What is the new total order? And does that now create a proper framework of duplication? Don't be confused about the slope of growth in your business. If you have no promotion, then you will have slow growth. If that's what your business looks like, if it looks like that because of your initial order, now is the time to correct it. That is step 2 in Staying Started.